Alright guys, so let's get right into it and talk about the S21 Ultra. So with the S22 Ultra, pretty much, here we're about 2 weeks away. I wanted to go ahead and just kind of take a look back and look at the S21 Ultra over the standpoint of its entire life cycle. Now don't get me wrong, this device still has a ton of life left. I think Samsung is promising 4 software updates for this anyway. So like I said, if you do have an S21 Ultra and you decide not to upgrade, your S21 Ultra is going to be perfectly fine going forward. Don't feel like because the new one's out, your current phone is obsolete. That's definitely not the case. All right, so like I said, I want to go ahead and get right into it. Let's go ahead and start with design and durability, pretty much how it's held up. So not really much to talk about in terms of durability. Obviously, man, this is still mint condition, pretty much brand new looking. It's lived most of its life in a case, so I honestly can't complain too much. No nicks, no scratches, nothing like that. I still think overall that this design is one of Samsung's best that they've ever done. It's, I would say my second favorite. S22 Ultra is my current favorite just because I really love what they did with the boxier design with that. Sorry, I'm gonna reference the Note a lot in this video, or the S22 Ultra a lot in this video, my apologies. But yeah, like I really do love this design. I love what they did with the camera kind of cut out here. So even though I do like the S22 more because it just looks more clean, like one sheet of glass kind of, I do like that a bit more. Like I said, I'm not mad at this design at all. This matte black, or phantom black as they call it, colorway still looks fantastic. I think that this is, like I said, still a dope looking smartphone and holds up extremely well. Turning the device over and getting right into it. Shout out to my homie Kaneki, for all you Tokyo Ghoul fans out there. But like I said, fingerprint sensor still nice and fast, man. Google, please take notes. Go ultrasonic. I can literally tap the fingerprint sensor and I'm in the device. I don't have to hold it and, work my finger around and watch out for ambient light. I saw a Reddit there, people talking about watch out for ambient light. That, in my opinion, is not how you do a fingerprint sensor. It definitely seems like ultrasonic is gonna be the way to go because I can literally just tap and I'm in my device. I don't have to think about it. It's almost like it's not even there. I love it, right? So fingerprint sensor, still flawless, still working great. Display, I don't think it even needs to be said at this point. Samsung makes the best displays on smartphones. That's why everybody is buying Samsung panels. They make the best displays. Obviously, they save their best for their own flagship models. S21 Ultra is an absolute beast in terms of the display quality. Got the 120 Hz refresh rate, still fantastic. I did notice a little bit of frame drops on Android 12, but that seems to be resolved, so I'm happy there. Performance, for the most part, it's pretty snappy. We'll talk a little bit more about performance and animation, stuff like that, a little bit more in like the little performance section that I'm gonna do in this video. But like I said, just general day-to-day looks great, no problems at all. I can see the device perfectly fine in super bright conditions, albeit it does sometimes, and I'm not sure if this is just my device or just Samsung as a whole, sometimes when I have it, it's like at that peak brightness, like I'm out bright daylight, the screen will look a little bit washed out. I think that that's what they were talking about with the S22 Ultra's new vision booster technology, whatever algorithm they're using for it, but it'll kind of look a little washed out because they're really pumping up that brightness. So like I said, I'm not sure if that was just my device or if that's just how Samsung panels have always worked, but either way, man, you cannot go wrong when you're talking about a Samsung panel. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the software and performance. And I kind of tied these two together because for me, when it comes to performance, I don't care about benchmarks. I don't care about, RAM speed or clock speed or any of that stuff. I care about real world performance and how snappy and responsive the device feels to use on a day-to-day basis. Now, for the general most part, I can honestly say I don't have any issues with the performance aspect as far as applications loading, staying in memory because of RAM and all of that. I don't have an issue with that. I still would like for Samsung to optimize their animations just a little bit better. I do feel like they're almost there. Animations are pretty fluid, pretty smooth. I just kind of want to see them be as fast, as smooth as, say, what Google offers or what Xiaomi offers in terms of their animations. theirs for some reason just feel a little bit more fluid and a little bit faster to me. I'm not sure what it is, but hopefully Samsung can kind of work on that, on the back end or whatever the case may be. Turning over and talking specifically about One UI. So One UI continues to be one of my favorite skins on top of Android as well, because you get, yes, a ton of features, some of which you are never gonna use, which, like I said, that's perfectly fine, but if I could tap, trying to do this stuff behind the camera. But they offer so many features and extra stuff that you can do with this device. I'll never forget it. I got this device in, and literally like 3 months later, I found the whole separate, the separate app sound feature where you can play Bluetooth from, this device to another device and then still watch, say, a YouTube video on this device and the sound coming out your speaker. Stuff like that, man. Like, Samsung really crams in everything into their devices. And then when you have, say, like Good Lock, which is an application, it's region based, it's not for everybody. I'm super sorry for you if this app is not in your region, because man, it has a boatload of customization. Things like Sound Assistant, where you can customize your volume panel. So most Android phones have just the one slider there. You'll kind of see it there. But on Samsung phones, and I'm not sure if it's off, other Android manufacturers, but I've only seen it on Samsung, but you have all of these little additional toggles. So say, for example, if you're watching a YouTube video, and say you're in like a Teams meeting or a Teams call, you can adjust the volume on a per app basis. So think the volume slider on a Windows PC, same thing, but for your Android phone. I hate to admit it as many times as I've done it, but I've literally been playing a game while I'm in like an audio only Teams chat, and I'll lower the volume of the game and crank the volume of the Teams chat up. That way I can still hear the meeting, I'm still engaged, but I'll literally be playing a game or something on my phone. So like I said, I hate to admit that I've done that, but I know I'm not the only one. But like I said, things like that, man, just make Samsung devices, in my opinion, feel much more closer to the experience you would get on a traditional Windows PC. This whole sidebar where you can literally take an app and create a floating window. Shout out to my Attack on Titan fans there. Was watching some stuff on Attack on Titan. Yo, I'm turning into an anime head, yo, like for real. But anyway, like I said, guys, you can open up like these little floating pop-up windows and stuff like that. And I know other, manufacturers have done that. I'm not saying that Samsung is the only one. I'm just saying I love, their implementation with some of this stuff. Say, for example, I have Spotify open. I can literally start a multitasking split view just from the pop-up window. I can take this application here up top and turn that into a pop-up. Like I said, things like this, man, just make Samsung devices feel so powerful when you compare it to a lot of other things on the market, especially when you're looking at it compared to, say, like an iPhone or a Pixel, where their experience is much more simple and minimalistic, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like that too. But when I use a Samsung device, I literally feel like a straight boss in terms of all the things my device can do. You know what I mean? Things like DeX, all of that stuff. So tons of feature, tons of great customization. I absolutely love One UI. I would probably say I'm still a little bit partial to the Pixel experience just because of how responsive and fluid it feels. But if Samsung ever is able to match Google in that regard, One UI would probably take the cake as my favorite Android skin on, any Android device, period, to be 100% honest. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on towards the next section, where we're gonna go ahead and talk these cameras, man. These cameras. So definitely kind of not a mixed bag, right? But the thing is, for me, Samsung continues to have probably the most versatile camera experience on any phone. It does pretty much everything good or usable, but I don't necessarily feel like it excels in any one category. I mean, the one category I may say that they kind of take the lead would maybe be zoom, because they have that 10x zoom and the 3x, so it's a little bit more, like I said, versatile. But in terms of like actual output quality, it's kind of, like I said, a mixed bag. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So with Samsung's cameras, man, like I said, they continue to do really, really well in terms of the hardware. I love the fact that I have 2 telephoto focal lengths. So I have that 3x telephoto for, portrait style pictures, because a 3x portrait for some reason just looks really, really good to me. I really, really like the way that those come out on my iPhone, on my Samsung devices. Even the 4x on the Pixel looks really, really good. And well, you don't have portrait mode, but you can go 4X and get that natural bokeh. But like I said, I just really love what 3X can do in terms of portrait mode shots. Samsung's edge detection continues to be really, really good. And that's even something that they're supposedly improving with the S22 Ultra through software. Hopefully they can bring that down to the S21 as well. But in terms of actual output, because that's the thing that I care about the most. So on Samsung's best days, and when I say their best days, I mean when you're taking photos of, pretty much non-moving objects or, landscapes, buildings, things like that, you're getting pixel level photos out of the S21 Ultra. I will say it, I will die by that. You're getting pixel level photos. But the thing that continues to make me give Pixel that crown of the best point and shoot camera are the little kind of technical aspects. Things like shutter lag. Samsung still has, even though it's gotten better, still has far too much shutter lag when you're taking photos. Like I'm trying to see if I can get something here for you guys. Let's bring in my moment case. Got the moment case for S21 Ultra, but try to see if I can get this. But don't pay attention to when my finger hits the button. Pay attention to when you see the black. So you'll kind of see it's kind of moving fast here, obviously because I'm on camera, but you can see that like there's a little bit of a delay. It's not instant. And the iPhone, the Pixel, those are instantaneous. And where you want that type of fast shutter is when you're taking photos of, say, kids and pets. I've taken tons of photos of my newborn son on my S21 Ultra that have just come out blurry because he's moving a little bit, right? So I'm really hoping that Samsung can really tackle that with the S22 series. And then they also talked about in the keynote, and I was super happy to see it, they talked about taking photos in dim lighting. Now, when I'm talking dim lighting, I'm not talking about low light where you're using night mode, and obviously we're not talking peak lighting conditions. We're talking dim lighting where, like I said, night mode won't kick in. My S21 Ultra has struggled with that. Like, it's honestly struggled. Like, I'm finding situations where my photos will come out too soft with not enough detail. So it's good that they're really focusing on those particular things because those were the two pain points when it came to the S21 Ultra's camera system. Other than that, man, it's been smooth sailing. I'm generally a fan of their processing. Their skin tones are a little weird and skin is a little bit over smoothing, but like I said, I'm hoping that they fix those things going into the S22. So I wanna go ahead and move on to the last thing, and I just wanna talk really quickly about battery life. So when I first got the S21 Ultra, battery life was very meh for me. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, great. And I can say after updates, and I guess I can kind of throw it in here, but Samsung's been killing it with updates. I honestly do think that they might be challenging Google for like that crown of Android update king. Like they're offering 4, major OS, 5 security updates, or 5 years of security updates. Samsung is killing it, and not just in terms of like the longevity, but the speed. They're actually pushing them out really fast too. So kudos to you, Samsung. But anyway, back to the battery life. So battery life, was pretty meh for me at first, and after, multiple software updates, I picked the phone back up, and the battery life was great. I would definitely say that it's at the upper echelon of Android flagships. So I'm really happy to say that. It edges out my Pixel 6 Pro like ever so slightly. Like I may have to put this phone back on the charger at like 9 or 10 o'clock when I'm about to go to bed. When I'm about to go to bed. The Pixel, I'll have to put that back on the charger at roughly 6 or 7. So it's like really, really close. And again, that's not screen on time or anything like that. I tend to not really focus on screen on time because I'm using my phone way too much with the screen off to really get a good calculation for you guys. So I just generally go from, I take the phone off the charger at 7 a.m. and I'm using it how I would normally use a phone. When do I have to put it back on the charger? It's kind of how I gauge battery life. As long as it gives me that full day where I'm not like halfway through the day reaching for a power cord, we're 100% good, no issues there. But like I said, battery has been really, really solid. Even today, it is 11:13. I took it off the charger at 7 a.m. I'm still rocking 73%. I'm not sure if you got, 73%. So the phone's doing really, really solid in terms of battery life, man. I'm really, really liking it. Coming back to this, man, it's felt really, really good. Like to take a break from One UI and from Samsung, move over to the Pixel and then come back. Always kind of gives you a little bit of appreciation for other devices when you do that. So I'm really, really happy with what Samsung's done with the S21 Ultra in this final state. Can't wait to see what comes of the S22. But like I said, guys, if you have an S21 currently, I'm not gonna tell you whether I think you should upgrade or not. That's not my place. My place is to give you pros and cons and let you decide that. All I'm saying is if you choose not to upgrade, I don't think that you're gonna, feel super disappointed or anything like that with the S21 Ultra. This is still a great phone, and it's still, like I said, my phone of the year for 2021. I think overall this was the best smartphone that came out. Let's see what happens with the S22, but that's gonna do it for the video today, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is Ike's Tech Talk. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.